All right, it's getting to be springtime. One viewer said, you should probably start working on your farm equipment. So we're gonna do the right thing and work on this instead. And we're gonna do that right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rouse Oliver Man. Cialis Chalmers. I couldn't pass it up. It seemed like a good deal. We bought it, we got it running. I ordered a bunch of parts for it. And the first plan of attack is gonna be, we're gonna take off the front wheels so we can mount those new tires that came with it on there. And then it'll be up on 4 wheels. And when it's up on 4 wheels, the sky's the limit, friends. We can work on it whenever we have free time. We can park it in the shed and forget about it for a long time, but if they're on 4 wheels, it's easier to deal with them, I have found. Because when they're not on 4 wheels, like that one back there, they end up sitting there in your way for a long time and you keep shoving them back and forth out of the way. We should probably try to start that one again sometime so we don't lose our progress on it, but whatever. You got to pick and choose your battles, and right now this is my battle. I want to get the tires put on it, and I want to get potentially some of the new parts put on it. Maybe we'll clean that up and paint as we go, some of it. We're going to definitely paint the front wheels before we put the tires on. So the plan is here, just there's no plan, you know. I want to try to figure out where would be a good place to jack it, and then when I'm done doing that, we'll come back and work on this tractor. No, what I'm trying to say is we need to pick it up so that both front wheels are off the ground. And I've got that nice stand I always use when I take wheels off of fleet lines and super series tractors and 3 digits. It's a house jack or whatever you call it, screw type thing. I basically just use it as a big jack stand. But I think I could get that up under there if I could use like a handyman jack and lift this thing up and set it down on that. I think under there will be some place where it'll precariously bounce and then it'll inevitably flip over and punch a hole through the oil pan. Then we'll have to get those, and by the time we get back to the salvage yard, they will have junked all these tractors and we won't be able to do that. But what else is new, you know? So handyman jack's behind me, but I need to get that other jack over here. It's heavy. That's why I like using it, because it's safe. And we'll set it next to here and see what the difference is. It just seems to me that that's about the same height as an axle on one of those tractors, so it might be close. All right, there's that. Whoa, way too much, of course. This is a job that's going to require the thinking stool. Figure out where potentially. Is that a nice flat place? No. That's kind of a flat place. But we're getting kind of far back where I'm afraid if we just go under that torque tube, it's really not going to hold it where we want it. I don't know that though. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I put it under the torque tube, that would get us up in the air, but would it be enough? We can always screw that out some more. That's in there pretty stiff, but it always comes around if you just manhandle it a little bit. Let's see about jacking it up and getting it on there, and then seeing if it's close to what we were thinking. I'll probably have to go to the other side because this side's got the clutch rod on it, and I really don't want to bend that. If you only want to do one at a time, narrow front tractors are easy to take wheels off of, but if you want them both off at the same time, it's a trick. Yes, it's going to tip over, but it's working. Uh-oh. That don't sound nice. Wow. It's coming along, friend. It actually did go up a little, but it's wanting to pivot away from the handyman jack. What a shocker. But I think I'll get it. I need to raise that jack a little bit though. It's not going to be high enough. We got to take into account that just being off the ground ain't enough. we got to leave room for the new stuff. All right, we're going to lube up everything, both jacks, using our magical fluid from a viewer. Zip! Does a body good? Probably not, but it does seem to do rust good, and that's what we're after here. You know, it might work to just, everything would turn the way it's supposed to. We could actually just, that's what we'll do. Oh, it's working. Let's go to this thinking stool again. But I think it's actually going to let me do it the way this is intended to be done, where I can just turn it up like this. This is made to lift buildings, so it should lift this. You can tell it's had some it's had some weight on it before in its life. Take that. Oh, that was stupid. We were so close to success, and then stupidity came. And now we have to start all over again. Unless we can use the handyman jack to fix our boo-boo. Or maybe we can use peer pressure and put it back. Let's stop with that. It was happy there. It was happy there. I don't know why it decided it didn't want to play ball again, but sure, that'll work. Walk away. That got them both up off the ground. And if we have to dig a little deal there to put the new ones on, that ain't no big deal. Let's get the impact and twist off all those bolts. That way we can spend 3/4 of a day grinding out, and you know the thing. But yeah. Now to help get closer to the action, we're gonna switch to the single stage creeper. That way it also doubles as if I accidentally throw it over on myself. It will kill me fully instead of just partially. That's pleasant when that happens, so I've been told. I'm not expecting anything to put up a fight, but anything's possible. Look at that. That came off sweet. Didn't even have to beat it or anything. Get out of there, you. We'll clean up on all this. Boy, those bearings feel good. Yeah, I don't think that needs anything. I don't suppose they have a grease fitting on them, do they? No. And I'm not real sure how that comes apart, to be honest with you. You guys will know. I guess that screws off of there. And that might be worth getting that loose before painting the hub. Or do we just roll with it? We ain't gonna do much with this tractor. We might just roll with it. But it would be nice to know if that, like, what happens? What happens on that? I don't know. But that's okay. We're not in it for that right now. We're in it for taking the wheels off. She's got a little bit of slop in her, but I think that slop is in the, and it is, isn't it? Maybe? Okay. I like how I start talking about one thing and then switch gears and totally talk another thing. But I think that a lot of our steering slop is right there, and that this is loose on this arm here is what's loose. So maybe we need to bust that loose at some point and see if we can wedge it on there farther, question mark. Let's get the other wheel off. One fight at a time. What we need to do here is get the rims cleaned up and get the paint on them so that they can be drying, because we're not going to be able to put this on today, you see. This is going to be a multi-stage video, but I have to start the first part with step one, and that's what we're doing. So, yeah. All right, will we have equal luck over here? No frame rail to set all my bolts on. I'm just not used to this. Orange tractors. That one was greasy. All right. That's 2 more pieces off of it. Again, I think most of the issue is back on the steering arm. There might be a little play up in here somewhere, but I think a lot of it's coming from back there. This one might have a little play in it. No, I don't think it does. I think both of these are excellent. And they feel like they feel like they have grease in them. I mean, they don't feel dry, is what I'm saying. You can tell when they're dry. I don't think these are dry. So I think I'm going to choose to ignore them for now. We'll clean this all up and make this orange again. And then later on in life's way, we'll find out we got to take them apart and then burn all the paint off with a torch and that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm going to get these off of there somehow. I'll have to get my little bead breaker thing because I ain't fighting that old rubber. And that'll get that busted loose. Hopefully we can get those pried off. Little tires are harder sometimes than big tires just because of the manipulation, the handling of it. It's harder to keep control on them. I am about to take a nap. I tell you, between being sick, not feeling good, and then this stupid daylight saving time change thing, I'm about to just fall asleep. I don't know. I might have to call it a day, and I ain't even really got anything done. But I'm convinced that we have this relatively sketchy, so there's nothing that can happen. Just leave it sit here, but we need to get this cleaned up and the process started so that, like I said, we can continue this video later, because you can't mount tires on wet paint. So I need to get them off, get the paint. I got the orange paint. This called for Persian orange #1, which I think is a more pumpkin-y orange than that. We'll see if the paint that I got is anywhere close to that. I tried to get it, and it says it's what it is, but you never know. They might all just be corporate orange and a different sticker. So, yeah, I'm not going to make you watch me clean stuff or whatever, so I'll bring you back in a little bit. Well, a thing happened. I was working on that. Then I laid down on that piece of cardboard and took a nap. When I woke up staring at this thing, I thought, why not just take her all the way apart and clean it up, put it back together as we go. So that's what's going to happen. And we'll probably try to do everything till about where it meets the transmission. And that way we will get all the stuff that needs to be functional, and all my new parts will be in that section. And then we can go back later and we can work gradually on the back end as we have time. We can take off fenders and we can take off pieces and finish it out. But I think that this is going to be the most difficult area, and it's really not going to be that much more difficult to just do this. Let's just take it off, because it's got to come off anyway to fix some of the issues that it's been having. Like for A, this nose. The radiator shutter thing will not play ball. I've tried different things, it won't go. So we'll just take this off. And in order to do that, we got to take off the hood. And then we can also get rid of this obnoxious thing. Get out of here, you. no more glass pack for this. So I got a new muffler coming, and we can clean this all up on the way back together. We'll get some new spark plugs in it. I think that would help it. And we'll figure out what to do for a charging system and wiring. This little tractor is just, I had it in my mind when I bought it that it would be a nice little sidebar project to be working on all the time. It doesn't take a lot of effort or a lot of expense, and when we get a free moment here or there, we'll record some working on it, and then that way we can see something through to completion, you know. There's a lot of projects we work on where we go down the rabbit hole of sadness and we never seem to get anything done, and that frustrates my brain. So I want something simple that I can potentially see some of my results, you know, more immediately than they do when you just work on a long-term thing. So that's my thinking here, especially since we got it running good. I thought, hey, why not just do that thing? I mean, see, it's basically just dirty. We're just gonna clean this up, we're gonna orangify it, and then we're going to put it right back together, but we're gonna put on new stuff instead of old stuff where we need to, and project complete. So that's my thinking, right or wrong. And I'll see how much footage it takes, and we'll try to keep the videos into shorter segments, because I know a lot of people like that. Some people don't care, but from my standpoint, it does work better to keep videos to 45 minutes or less, because you have to watch them like 4 or 5 times to edit, and that breaks my brain finally, watching the same stuff I just immediately did in real life over and over and over again. And the ones that are well over an hour, that's hard to sit there and watch. So I'm gonna keep plugging away at this, and I will bring you back whenever there's something potentially interesting. But basically we're just gonna strip her down a little bit more, and see, then this is gonna give us an opportunity. Let's just go ahead and rebuild that carburetor. When we rebuild it, we'll put it back on rebuilt. We know it runs, we know it drives, so it's worth putting a little effort into, and I don't think it's going to be that expensive to do it. I really don't. I would be surprised if when we're done with this, if we have $800 in this whole project, maybe. I don't know. It might be a little more than that because of the little doodabs I bought, but really, it's not, you couldn't go out and buy one that will be what we have, you know. You'd have about the same in something but not know anything about it, I guess is what I'm saying. So that's where we're headed. All right, it's many days later, but I finally got that done. As soon as those are dry, they're ready to mount tires. I also got some more stuff done too. I got this done this far, so hopefully we can build back better, but actually do it. So we'll be able to put it back on 4 wheels, and then we'll be able to just, as we get stuff fixed, slap it back on and go. I don't know, I got a bunch of new parts for it. Why am I throwing money at this little thing? I don't know. It's just kind of cute, and I thought, hey, it shouldn't be that difficult to just make it look a little bit nicer. I was disappointed that I ordered the Tallman's Ag Specialty paint, and they sent me Van Sickle paint. So we're gonna enjoy the sun fading properties of that, I'm sure. I thought maybe they'd improved their formula, but painting it, it was, yeah, it's old tricks, you know, it bubbles up and stuff, and it's just a lot of fun. I also got one more thing done whilst I was doing all this. Got me a super rim drying here, because we got more tractors now, you know. So once we get all of that stuff, there goes Buddy the dog. I don't know what he's doing. Anyway, we got plenty of stuff to work on. This is just supposed to be a quick little side project, and it got more involved than I anticipated, but hey, sometimes I need a minute, you know. I need to be working on something that I want to work on just to relax my brain. And that's what I thought this project would be good for, because it's not overly difficult and I know I can make it more better than it was. So we'll let all this dry, and then hopefully we'll be able to start putting stuff back the way that it should be, and our life will be infinitely better then, right? I just have to then start working on sheet metal and stuff, which is terrible, but we'll get it done, you know. It'll happen. I'm happy with the progress we've made so far, and like I said, it's manageable. We'll get it done, and we're gonna have to tune it up and make it run even better than it did, because it was missing in the last videos, and consequently when I was cleaning this up I accidentally hooked a spark plug wire and ripped it out. So that all needs redone, a more permanent coil setup instead of the one that I stole and used for something else. And sure, so we will revisit this in the future, and until that time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.